Libs of TikTok posted on X must watch full Trump remarks on the shooting of National Guardsmen by an Islamic terrorist who Biden flew into our country. I feel like I keep hearing this with every criminal. They keep saying, yes, this was flown in by Biden. It's just like, it's such a very good, like, I want details on that. What does that even mean? Flown in by Biden? Anyways, let's hear.
My great fellow Americans, earlier today on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday,
Which, by the way, the timing on this is so tragic.
2 members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C., were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. They'd been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all types. This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families. The love of our entire country is pouring out for them.
I mean, I know it's easy to say this during a hard emotional time, but you can tell that, like, this is affecting him, like, emotionally. He's not just kind of going through the motions with this.
And we are lifting them up in our prayers as we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot. We're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden.
Why would you import people that you have no idea what their background is by, like, the droves? Why would you do that?
A disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country.
I mean, obviously there's no love lost between Biden and Trump. But even during the presidency of Biden, I'm like, this guy in my lifetime is easily the worst president I have ever seen. If he even could be considered a president with the auto pen, like, the dude was not even there mentally or physically. Like, it was like a comical period in history, and people got to look back and be like, how the hell did that even happen? How did they elect a dude that wasn't even mentally capable of doing a job?
This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars are lost, and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water.
Like, these, I know people in the United States, specifically, the wokies, do not understand how good we have it here. And they think that it's like this everywhere on the planet, and that if you're not letting people into the country, that you are inherently an awful person because, oh, they have a terrible situation and we have it great here. Bring them in here. There's a reason why we have it great here, because they're not fucking here.
No military, no nothing. As their representatives in our country preach to us about our Constitution and how our country is no good.
Oh, ever since Elon opened up the location-based information on X, I've noticed there's a whole lot of people outside of America that pretend that they're in America. Curious.
We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them. America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror. And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling. That is why tonight I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops.
Let's go.
To help protect our capital city. We will.
This is what a leader does. They don't get scared. They don't back down. They double down like, okay, can have a crazy person shoot some of our cops? Okay, we'll send more in. Not run away from it.
Make America totally safe again. And we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that. During this time of the year, when we gather at home with loved ones, these two patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage attack. I want to express my extraordinary gratitude to every member of the United States military who is deployed tonight at home and abroad. I also want to thank the Secret Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department for their work today. This Thanksgiving, I ask every family to say a prayer for the two great heroes who were so horribly shot and for their loved ones. Please say a prayer. May God bless them and comfort them, and may God bless and protect the United States of America. Thank you and good night.
What a absolute boss this guy is. Holy shit. It's great to have actual leadership for once. I don't know if you guys saw this dude, but clearly mentally unwell, to put it nicely. I said, people keep saying that this DC shooter is politically on the left. What could possibly make anyone think that? Why is he walking around in like a freaking Speedo with the what's that Muslim type beard on him? Nick Sorter, breaking. President Trump says that every single Afghani brought in under Biden will be re-examined. And we'll leave it at this because this blew my mind. I don't know if you guys saw this earlier, but you don't hate journalists enough. Lives at TikTok says the media is justifying the shooting of National Guardsmen because some people might not like law enforcement wearing uniforms and masks in their cities. Demonic. This is insane. Just hear it out. Listen to this. Well, this comes from Chris Hook, who says, MS Now's Ken Delanian just after 3 p.m. Eastern on the shooting of 2 National Guard troops in Washington, D.C.
But of course, there's so much controversy happening in the United States right now with ICE, who are also wearing uniforms and wearing masks. And so there's, you don't know, people walking around with uniforms in an American city. There are some Americans that might object to that. And so apparently this shooting has happened.
What the hell did I just hear?
So much controversy happening in the
guys bending over backwards to make excuses as to how this happened. Oh, he's probably justified because the guy was scared, guys. He was scared. They're not used to people in uniform. And it might have been, they might have confused him with ICE. Like that somehow is a better thing to shoot an ICE agent? Like what kind of logic was this? That's the kind of thing that when you say that out loud, You are telling the world that you are crazy because your mentality is to defend a perpetrator first before thinking logically of what transpired and how it could have happened. You're like, well, let me find a way to excuse the actions of the dude that shot the officers. That's insane to me. That's insane. You can't hate journalists enough. It's like, seriously. The same thing happened, by the way. Let's not forget, after the Charlie Kirk shooting, I think that newscaster got fired when they said that shit about him. This is crazy to me. Every time that something like this happens, we got a newscaster that's just like, let's be a sympathizer for the crazy people because we need these crazy people. I don't even want to try to attempt to get inside their brains as to why they're thinking like that. That's insane. That's insane. But yeah, it seems to me like President Trump is going to actually be cleaning the country up, and not a moment too soon. So looking forward to that. If there's any good news that comes out of this, it's that. But yikes, what a sad travesty to happen right before Thanksgiving. That's so sad for their families. Anyways, I'll leave that there.